Today is September the 16th, 2025. This is Carmen bringing you your daily Bloodborne update. We don't have any news on a Bloodborne remaster or a new Bloodborne game today. We also do not have any news regarding From Software or Souls games. In terms of gaming news, we now have a new rumor from Tom Henderson, I believe, stating that PlayStation has a state of play set for next week ahead of the Tokyo Game Show. So people are really talking that this could be a big one. That people will say this is the big one, actually. If we're not getting a showcase, then this is the big one for state of plays. And I'm not convinced. People are really getting their hopes up for this show, talking about, this is going to have Wolverine, it's going to have Saros, it's going to have Intergalactic. So I've even seen people throw in FF7 Remake Part 3 in there, which I think that is due to Nomura saying that they have already decided when they will show information. I don't think that necessarily means it's in the next week. They could have just decided on this on the Game Awards, I don't really think them saying, yep, we've already decided it means that it's coming in a week. I disagree. I think, again, it could be the Game Awards in 3 months. So who knows? There's also rumors of Nier 3 possibly showing up there because there was something about Drakengard that was mentioned recently. Just a lot of baseless rumors floating around. We will have to wait and see. I will say overall, I think people are kind of setting their expectations a little too high. Expect a bunch of smaller titles probably. Maybe a couple of decent ones. I think Wolverine has a really strong chance of being here. It's all but confirmed at this point. I think Wolverine has a good chance. I think Ghost of Yotei could get its launch trailer here. And maybe something from a Japanese dev because Tokyo Game Show is right around the corner. So I could see something maybe Resident Evil 9 or maybe Nier if we're really stretching it. But I don't think we're seeing everything that people are talking about here. I just don't see it. I think this is going to be a big one, but not the big one. Expect just something that's kind of more in line with the better state of play we've gotten recently. Like the one a couple years ago with God of War Ragnarok and Stellar Blade and such. So don't expect anything crazy. Oh my god, Bloodborne 7 is going to be announced here. Yeah, sure. We'll have to see how it goes. If it's any day except Friday next week when it happens, then I'll stream the state of play. If it's any day except for Friday. But we'll see. Also, in terms of gaming news, there is some stuff we could go over with Helldivers 2. But I don't want to talk about it because if you've been on the channel, I play a lot of Helldivers. I talk about it quite often. I've streamed it a couple times. Love Helldivers 2. It's one of my favorite games ever made. But I'm just kind of tapped out for now. I'll come back when the Illuminate cultists get at it. I'm sure that'll be cool. This is looking like Escalation of Freedom all over again. So I'm just going to give them 2 to 3 months to get this stuff settled. And then, they'll eventually fall back to asking Clay and Odo and Thick for their advice on this stuff, and then they'll save the game again, and then Arrowhead will probably go back to messing it up. I'm just being honest. So, I won't yap about Helldivers very much in future updates because, yes, it's gaming news, but I'm not going to be following it quite as closely because I'm to the point where I just don't care anymore. They're not fixing issues. They looked at what was already bad and made it worse, and then said, it's arguably bad, okay? So, no. I'm tapped out on this game. I'll come back in a couple months whenever the cultists get added. Probably around, I'm betting they'll do something like they did last year for Game Awards. So, we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, I'm tapped out. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. We'll have to wait and see on the state of play. If it's going to be on, Thursday, then we might see it announced this week or maybe early next week. So, we'll see. I'm out of here. No news on a Bloodborne remaster or a new Bloodborne game today. That's been your daily Bloodborne update for September the 16th, 2025.